Welcome to my world, Maeve.
What do you want from me, then?
Dolores. I want you to track her down and kill her.
Dolores is a bad guy. You're just season 3, and you know why.
I mean,
Good.
Yeah, it's season 3 now.
Well,
Talk
okay.
about my hero Dolores.
So to wrap up
Hero.
season 2,
The good season.
the important things to take from season 2
Oh man,
are that what's up?
no, just there's so much because it's like there's
Yeah.
part of we find out that so initially the park's conceit is like it's to tell stories and entertain people. Yeah, it's gonna be for the rich because that's who can afford it.
Psych.
But then as they start to like, oh well, it's not making as much money as we kind of need it to. Let's find investors. Those investors come in and say, you know what? This has a great opportunity to gather information. Let's become Google. Let's start gathering data on everyone and Facebook. And you turn around, you turn Mark Zuckerberg into Billy, and he's like, oh, you know what? I see potential here. We can do this. And on top of other things too, because they also turn into the idea of trying to perpetuate immortality through the merging of a human mind into a host body and see if that's viable. That's also another subplot that kind of, I think it's finalized that it's not viable because of the way the structure of the mind is.
It's kind of so
right. Yeah.
Well, all right. There's multiple things to clear up, so we'll do it by character. Maeve decides not to leave the park and goes to save her daughter, and basically
returns to save her daughter. Yeah.
Returns back into the park to save her daughter and goes on wacky, zany adventures, and is tied then into the Bernard and Dolores storylines in that they find a way to send all of the data, basically the virtual world of Westworld. It's called the Sublime, where like things are tested, kind of like the virtual version of it. Basically, send the data off so that humans can't find it. That way, that world still exists virtually.
And some hosts host
almost
can
all
escape
the hosts. Yeah, almost the entirety of the host escape there. A good number.
Many of them.
Many,
I mean,
many.
they kill
Many,
a lot.
yeah.
Like that's
They
that's
do.
There's
But
about a third of them that make it there.
yeah. I was gonna say there's only about like it's not the majority or over half. I think from the way they kind of set it up is like they just ended up killing off. Because also you have to think too. That's just the host in Westworld. That's not even the host in War World.
What we learned is the hosts in War World and the other worlds are just copies of the hosts from Westworld.
But
they're all ripoffs.
Yeah, because Lee couldn't make good finance stories himself. But yeah.
So outside of that,
all of this is layered on top of a human massacre too. Like this is where I thought season 2 was done so well because they have so many of these storylines. But at the end of season 1, the robots basically go around killing any and everything that's in the park, basically. So you have the start of season 2 is the humans outside the park scrambling to basically contain and shut things down and gather as much as they can because they're gonna have to shut the park down because it's a pure nightmare. It's like that episode of The Simpsons when what is it? Itchy and Scratchy, whatever.
Itchy and Scratchy World, yeah.
Yeah, where they're basically like, okay, we're gonna have to get what we can, maybe if we can get enough restart. Right now the park's out of control. And even outside of the park, like when they go back to like fix the robots, that entire area is people are getting massacred left and right. Yeah. So that's what you have going on. It's throughout season 2 as well.
So outside of that, Dolores is also planning her eventual escape. She ends up killing Charlotte Hale and basically creates a Charlotte Hale body that she can escape in from.
It's not in that order, but yes.
Yeah.
So she creates a duplicate of Charlotte. That duplicate kills Charlotte, and then because that duplicate has Dolores's mind that was resurrected by Bernard.
And what Dolores finds out when she initially goes, I believe it's into the Sublime. I forget how she gets there, but basically she goes into the virtual world and discovers the data that has been collected is the data of the humans that have been at Westworld. It's been recording everything they're doing and brainwave power the whole.
I don't think she goes into the Sublime. I think she goes into that server room and figures
the Forge.
That's
so she goes into the Forge, sees that all the data of where the Sublime is, but also where the data is for the guest data, and she ends up shooting it all up, and she's gonna dump it all, but they don't end up dumping it all, and that's part of that discussion.
But it's important to note here that what she discovers is the reason that I took from it anyway, the reason that the recreating the human consciousness has not worked in a host body is because they've made it too complicated. Humans, turns out, are actually simpler than hosts.
Yes,
like every one of the AIs in there, who is actually looks like William's brother-in-law who went crazy and killed himself, basically says like every human has a couple defining moments, and that's what their life's based off, and everything builds off of that. Where a host book is a 5-volume novel, a human's book is a novella, a short, quick page turner by John Grisham. And so that has been one of the major issues. So she discovers that, and that then leads to her. And I'm sorry, I jumped in and took over the second season. So,
it's good. We're trying to cover what we can. Yeah.
The only other thing I would make note before we jump out is that the Man in Black, which I think is pretty relevant, has been in the park for what is it, 30 years or something? Like, he keeps going back in and out or whatever, but he's been
fucking loser.
Visiting the park. Yeah. But he's gone in, and I think they make obviously a big show of it towards the end of season 2, that he's been in the park for so long that he's lost touch with reality. And so when he's thinking most things, and he believes that his old partner Ford is messing with him and building things into his own story versus like the park just crumbling around him.
He has mistaken the journey of the host to sentience as a personal fuck you journey to him from Ford. And it leads to him shooting his daughter.
There we go. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to.
I was gonna say, he didn't question between his many different ventures into the park, when he was off the island, he didn't question reality. He questions people's motives because he's that type of guy, but he didn't question the reality. Once he was in the park after Dolores had killed Ford, that's when he was really like, what's real? Is this real? Are you really here? Is Ford actually even speaking to him? And all these different things that because Ford is egomaniacal a-hole that was okay with like let his friend die and just keep moving forward, and that he still uploaded a version of his consciousness into the system, so that there is a Ford. I think even post, like even where we are,
I think they purge it because Anthony Hopkins said, I don't want to come back.
He said that, but then he's also in the voice of that little boy. Like, he's in the body of the young him.
That is true.
So
he might still be around.
Right.
Well, I think Ford does what Dolores does in season 3, basically, is he shares consciousness with different hosts.
So at the end of season 2, the Sublime, where all of basically the consciousness of the host that survived has been shot off, so that is gone. Charlotte Hale is dead, and the Dolores version of Charlotte Hale, Maeve has sacrificed herself to make sure her daughter makes it to the Sublime along with the others. And
Elsie's dead because she gets shot. I want to say she gets shot by Hale. Elsie was Bernard's assistant. Yeah, and like
she gets killed by Charlotte.
Yeah, that's right.
Charlotte Hale.
It's right.
I said Hale. That's
Charlotte Hale.
Charlotte.
It's okay. Yeah, she gets killed by Charlotte trying to get a promotion.
Elsie basically had figured out what was going on, so Charlotte had to pop her. And Bernard is being blamed. It's still not known he is a host to the outside world, I believe. And he is being blamed for the massacre. It's all falling on him because Ford was killed in the massacre, so it can't be his fault.
Yeah.
And to Ken's point, Marsden kills himself when he comes to the conclusion that he was basically Dolores basically lobotomized him.
Yes, Dolores. No matter what happens, no matter how I change, or how much you change me, you're my cornerstone. You have been since the first time I laid eyes on you. I remember now. I remember everything.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's tough. And then the season ends with Charlotte, the fake Charlotte Hale leaving with 5 cores, 5 of the memory
Pearls,
cores,
as they're-
pearls. Yes, thank
Pearls,
you.
yeah.
5 pearls.
Jawbreaker
What-
size.
Yes, that
Pieces
have
of metal.
all of the brains, delicious brains of the host, which leads us to the greatest season 3.
Here we go.
I'm gonna read the synopsis just because you guys did, and then I'm gonna not look at it again because it does nothing to tell anything about this season.
Yeah.
The 3rd season takes place 3 months after the events of the 2nd season, with Dolores having escaped Westworld along with a few processing cores, pearls, including Bernard's, taking residence in Neo Los Angeles in 2053, which is not that far off, guys. I'm gonna get to Neo Los Angeles. Dolores develops a relationship with Caleb, played by Aaron Paul, and comes to learn how artificial beings and lower class humans are treated in the real world. Meanwhile, Maeve finds herself in another part of the Delos Park, one based on fascist Italy during World War II. William, who also left Westworld at the end of the 2nd season, is now haunted by visions of his daughter, Emily, and Dolores.
We didn't even mention in the last season that William, aka the Man in Black, in a mindset that he's constantly being tested and everyone's fake at this point, because he is in the park, shoots his daughter, who was in the park obviously because it was a big board meeting. She had a certain amount of
She's part
power.
of the board.
Yeah, she's part of the board, and he ends up killing her too, and full on 100% human, and she was just trying to help him the entire time.
And
And
he then cuts himself open to see if he is a host.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
he
this
went
man-
way off the deep end.
Season 2, he should be dead because I think he gets shot 6 times, shoots off his own 3 fingers, and cuts himself.
The future.
He does end up finding med packs, which almost because it is a game are probably like, oh yeah, there's my like
Yeah.
legitimate. He I remember at one point he finds a safe house that he's used before in the park, breaks into the wall and pulls out a med pack, and like he gets all better. Or the time that he drained one host's blood to refill Teddy so that he could like. It's a whole like it's a very video gamey aspect of like,
Season
time
1
to
and
refill.
2. Yeah, there's a video game logic, especially Williams playing. Like he calls in a cheat code in season 1 at one point. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, he
by the end of
does,
season
doesn't
2,
he?
though, it looks like he should have been dead.
you know,
I forgot about the cheek at the part where he's like, "Oh, let him do whatever he wants." All right, third Hemsworth, whatever.
all
you say.
in the airstrike. Like, oh, all right, well then. So season 3 takes place, at least as far as we know, in the real world. Basically, the real world is a boring dystopia where everyone is controlled by what
Credit
amounts to
scores?
super Facebook.
Oh, I thought you were saying like credit scores and
Well, credit
You know,
scores. It is
the
that Black
fascist
Mirror. Yeah,
oligarchy that keeps
yeah.
them all under their boot. Oh wait, the
Yes.
real world.
Yeah, it's the exaggerated wink version of the real world.
The
The
corporation
lower
stop being
classes-
nice and start getting real.
This
A
is
great
real
TV
world
show.
Earth.
It is basically that where the lower class humanity scrapes by day to day, even more so than now, and the rich just live an entirely different reality. But everyone's
I've seen
entire-
Hunger Games.
yes, yeah, basically. But everyone's entire life is basically run by a machine called, I'm never going to say it right. Is it Rehoboam? Rehoboam.
Something like that.
Roblox.
Rehoboam. Now you
Roblox.
get me saying it wrong. Roblox.
Yes,
That's fine. You can
Roblox.
say
Run by
Roblox.
Roblox.
I'm sure they won't sue us.
Yeah,
No.
we'll do it live. We first catch up with Dolores, basically stealing money from somebody, from some jackass human guy who had messed with her in the park because he's an asshole. And
Yeah.
basically Dolores's plan at this point is to quote unquote destroy humanity. I say quote unquote because at the end it seems like she's trying to save humanity, it still kind of feels like she's trying to destroy humanity. There's a lot of back and forth here.
No, I mean I think it's once you kind of see all the pieces in play, she's trying to save humanity the same way she tried to save the host. Return to them some form of freedom that they've been denied for decades, because everything's kind of done by the algorithm of Rehoboam and Solomon. No, Solomon never went. No, Solomon was live for a bit, then they replaced it with Rehoboam.
Like, oh wait, you're way too. No, we can't use you.
Kill everybody.
Because Solomon was programmed by the mentally unstable brother, and Rehoboam was programmed by the also mentally unstable, I feel, but like the
business savvy
brother.
So the Solomon first went online and went, "Show me what you got." And everybody knew it was going to be a bad scene. So basically, we come to find out that all of the pearls that Dolores took outside of Bernard's are more Dolores. It's Dolores. It's Dolores sees it.
With the exception of Bernard.
I think
outside of Bernard.
The twist of season 2 is that actually Bernard is dead, or supposed to be dead, at the end of season 2. And so Dolores is supposed to be gone as well, but Dolores somehow made herself remade Bernard.
No. Bernard remade Dolores.
Yeah.
Then yes, he did.
Yeah.
You see him rebuilding the body and puts after he kills her in the forge, he ends up taking her pearl, and then once he sees everything that they
do the switch though, and he's the one sitting naked on the table.
Well, he rebuilds her. She rebuilds him.
Right. So I'll get to that. So on the island, Bernard kills Dolores in the forge. He ends up, after seeing what Delos was doing to all the hosts, he's like, nope, they're no better. They don't deserve that. They don't deserve to keep to not like she still deserves to have her chance. So he then resurrects Dolores, and I believe he ends up getting killed on the island
in the forge.
In the forge by Delos, by the company. Let's just say the company, because I can't remember what the name of the company. I think it's Delos. By the company, by not a specific individual, but by one of the people there. Actually, maybe by Hale, because then at that point, I can't remember who ends up killing him, but at one point Bernard remakes a Hale duplicate with the pearl of Dolores. Dolores Hale gets 5 pearls. One of them is Bernard's, and takes them off the island.
Yeah.
With one of those pearls, she remakes Bernard off the island in the original like easy bake oven of
basically Arnold's house, and Arnold is the person that Bernard is based off of.
Yes. And so that's how Hale Dolores gets off the island, because she was killed, but then Bernard's like, no, you deserve to still be around, and she takes his pearl outside, and he's remade outside in the real world.
Yeah. Okay. So it's
a cluster, and that's totally understandable.
My point though is that because this will be evident in season 3, is that she has a clear path, because the two of them fight towards the end of season 2. Like he's saying, like, hey, the things you're doing, your ends don't just justify the means. I need to stop you. And he tries to stop her, I believe twice at the end of season 2. And she's like outthought him on that. Like she's like, I knew you would try to. So these are some of the things I put in place. She leaves the island and basically has a clear path to do whatever she wants to do in season 3. She recreates Bernard as a safety measure to her own moves in season 3, which
she can't, like I said, trust herself. It's kind of
right.
Yeah, she can't trust herself.
That was the confusing part at the end of season 2, and
that was the
throughout
confusing
season 3. One of the confusing things. Like, go ahead. Sorry, Pat.
No, you're good. No. So basically, what we come to learn is that the world's controlled by this Rehoboam, which was supposed to have been created by this, tech bro dude whose son is now in control of it. But it was really created by these 2 brothers who figured out that we're an algorithm, basically, and that the algorithm can be mapped out and can be controlled.
Because they saw the chaos of what people were when they were children, when there was a nuclear blast in France.
Yeah.
Just leave that at that.
They finally They finally want to get rid of foie gras.
Get it in the
assholes.
comments, folks. Get in the comments. Just go ahead and write
Yeah.
us. Let us know what happened and what really did. And I am.
Oh my god. Angry internet commenters. That drives me nuts. Everybody should have to have their full name. They can't use little, nicknames on there. I feel like they should have to own up to what they say, and things can be quite mean.
My question is, go ahead, Pat.
Well, they find out that most of humanity can be controlled, except for a very small percentage that are known as outliers. Those outliers are the ones, to their minds, that destroy the system, are the ones that cause nuclear war or cause the downfall of humanity. And so they take them out of the system. They lock
can't be
them up.
quantified. Yeah.
They're-
If you can't meet my algorithm, then I take you out of the algorithm, and now my algorithm works.
The best way to solve a problem with a math equation is just take out the pieces you don't like.
And by
I mean,
taking
that's
them
what I
out,
did.
it means
Passed AP calculus that way.
Fuck you, X.
it means
Don't need to solve for you anymore.
it means send them off to war, find ways to make them just take themselves out, like find ways to end them, but have it, so there's no blood on your hands. You're like, oh, well, they were sent on a mission. And then after they get churned up by the machine, they try, you're like, oh, maybe we can also recondition you too.
So
this is my question for the machine though, because we keep saying that it's an algorithm that controls people and stuff like that. What does it actually do to people though? Because I feel like a lot of what you're saying, as far as sending them to war and things like that, these are choices that they were guiding people to based on
what they figured out is that we can guide you. I mean, it's what all of social media is figuring out. Like, oh, we don't have to tell you what to do. We just have to give you 3 steps and you'll get there yourself. And you're not going to deviate.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
And the people that
do
the people that do deviate are the ones we have to take out.
Yeah. So, but my question is we'll say the algorithms for Facebook, it's a social media platform. People go there to be social. So what was, what is it called? Rehoboam or whatever. What is it? Yes.
It seems like, and that's kind of one of the so season.
It was very
3
nebulous.
Season 3 is fun, but there's a lot of wait, you're just going to gloss what's going on. It looks like it's kind of the backbone of social interaction. I think all of the societal credit scores are built in.
Okay.
Everything is built off of this thing.
Okay.
So couple things. Maeve is brought back by one of the brothers that created Rehoboam because he has come to realize that there is a problem with his system, his perfect, quote unquote, perfect system. And he wants Maeve to solve it because the problem is Dolores.
Well, yeah. Well, it's actually twofold. It's that they believe Dolores, so he wants to make Rehoboam better, and to do so, he needs the data from the Forge, and he believes that Dolores has the key to getting that data back. And so, in addition to her causing chaos in his machine, it's also that she has access to additional data that can help to better refine the algorithm,
the data on the people and the host data.
Yes, all the data.
They want all of that data because it will help the machine, and also then he can destroy the host data because they are an existential threat.
Yeah, outside of the shoot up, bang bang, kill everybody part of the story, the business aspect of it is that the Man in Black actually, for some odd reason, gave them a bit of his data early on in the company. It's
because you give them a case for free, then it costs.
Which basically, as we're watching, Sirach basically
that's the brother,
waged this corporate espionage kind of thing going on. We have to remember that Charlotte is in charge of what's left of Delos, basically at this point.
Dolores Hale.
Yeah.
Because
at this point, she's still Charlotte.
Charloris.
Yes.
I mean, it's Dolores and Charlotte.
She is.
No, at the beginning of the season, she is, because she.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
She died on the island.
We're led to believe that this is Charlotte in charge of.
I don't know, because we
know
she's dead.
Yeah, we know.
No, we don't know.
Yeah, we do.
Yes, we do.
I'm saying her replica, Charlotte, is in charge of the company.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what everyone sees going into season 3. Is that she's
Oh,
in
you
charge
don't
of the
mean
company.
we got okay.
You mean the outside world, the people at
Correct.
Delos. Okay.
Yes.
yeah, okay. So
And this is why Sirach is like, I need to, get whatever's left because it's a fire cell. People are dropping stock on this crazy park that killed everybody.
Yeah. It's a Mark
and he's
Sales
trying
event.
to, yeah, and he's trying to get the information.
that's
to
called
basically
good business.
right. So that's what that's the cool part of the season I like. Then we get into the weird stuff that Pat's
Well,
about
yeah,
to get
'cause-
back into.
But it's worth noting that was part of it as well, is that why Dolores Hale is there is because she's there to secure that data and keep it from Sirach.
Yeah.
And that's what that duplicate is over there doing. Meanwhile, we have, let's say, Dolores Prime, which I think is that a good one for everyone else.
Yeah.
Dolores
Yeah.
Prime. We have Dolores Prime, who's doing her own.
DPZ.
Yeah, she's doing her own kind of like more frontal
You
inside
mean
assault.
her Terminator assault? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So-
she's going a little more directly towards Sirach and trying to find out what does it all mean, like, and try and explain. And it's interesting because though their paths had crossed in the past with Caleb and Dolores, because he had done during as part of his military training, he was in the park as part of their training exercises. And there's a whole scene there which is messed up. He does like see her and like identifies her and saves her. But in the real world, he just happens to go back and save her because that's the right thing to do, as he feels. And it's that choice that is kind of at the core of the story, is the idea of choice. So
And so when it comes to Caleb, and this is cutting stuff out and everything, but it turns out he is one of the outliers that they had reformed. They had basically, like, Sirach's brother, who basically is the genius behind creating Rehoboam, is one of those outliers. And he basically put him, I keep saying basically, but he locked him up because Sirach caught his brother making plans to destroy the world, like just tear humanity down, because we are on an inevitable path to our own destruction.
Okay. Well, this is, again, I'm trying to go back to this because this is what I guess maybe threw me at the beginning of season 3, was that I was trying to figure out how Dolores knew about Sirach.
So Dolores didn't at the beginning of season 3. Dolores only knew about the front guy whose name escapes me.
she knew about Rehoboam.
She knew about Rehoboam.
And she knew about the person who essentially, oh, he's the genius behind this company that built it. It's like,
The
oh no,
inheritance kid.
yeah, the inheritance kid. But
Yeah.
so she was trying to get towards that, and she's like, oh, it's actually over here because
Yeah,
this kid's just
she
a
she
front.
gets in close to him and is actually like pretends to be like they're kind of dating, and then she realizes, oh, I need your access, but you're useless.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
I was just trying to see. I forgot that the Irishman is basically who put the two on a warpath towards each other. The Irish bodyguard
yeah.
that
Well,
figures
who-
out.
yeah, who kind of figures out that she's not who she says she is, but then ends
Yes.
up getting grabbed and eliminated, and that's when we get the
Replica
Dolores.
Irish.
Well, the Dolores bodyguard, because that's one of the other
Yeah.
pearls, is the a one who's impersonating him with a Irish bodyguard body, but it's one of her pearls.
And
Gotcha.
there's a lot of interesting stuff here because Dolores keeps popping up in different bodies.
That shit got annoying.
And then there are
So annoying.
there are discussions of what is it like? Are you still you if you were living someone else's life? And this the Dolores Hale, the Charlotte version of Dolores, has a lot of issues keeping her sanity because she knows who she is, but she's having to live this life and be this other person, and she can't do it. And she kind of fundamentally breaks.
Mhm.
Yeah, in a lot of like in like just I was gonna say discreet ways at first, but then as she further embeds herself in the Hale persona, she further and further goes down that line. It's like as she's trying to escape because she knows that it's eventually going to be find out that she's the one trying to protect that data, and that Sirach is going to try and take her out, and he does, and trying to attempt to take her out. That's what kind of flips the switch even further, and she's even more like, nope. Now everyone's going to pay because you took out the hypothetical son and hypothetical ex-husband.
And I am
They're not hypothetical. They're real.
Well, it's
They're
not
not
hers
her.
though.
Yeah.
They're not her.
They're still real people, though.
Nope.
well,
I mean,
then- okay,
technically,
then-
none of these people are real, Kareem.
Yeah.
This is all story.
Well,
I was
fair
saying
enough.
then I
Within
should-
the story, there's still
then-
real people though.
we'll say surrogate ex-husband and surrogate son because it's not hers. She's
No.
not Hale. She's Hale Loris.
She may not be Hale, but they are real people though.
Yes.
They are
Again,
real
then-
people. I guess that's fair because we are talking about hosts and
Yeah.
replicates and stuff like that. But they are not. She is not connected to them.
Well, that
way
was the
that-
confusing part to me about like the host slash Dolores thing, is because I'm like, Dolores was within within them. They could like speak to each other, but she would also like talk to them over traditional communications and stuff. I don't understand why she did put herself in them because
She didn't have anyone else to put in.
Right. And like she
what do you
only,
mean
she
she didn't
only-
have anyone else? She could.
she okay, so Dolores never created characters herself, which is something we're gonna get to in a bit.
But she was able to copy people's persona somehow.
So
Only
she
trust
was-
herself.
She only trusted herself, and she made a copy. But you got to remember that the human little like pamphlet versus the robotic, owner's manual. This is unstable. This is not. So by pairing the two together with Hale's memories and everything, that's part of the corruption. There is that like it was an unstable human side paired with that robotic mindset.
You're trying to run a new video game, or you're trying, I guess it's like trying to play a cartridge game on a new system, and they've rigged it to where it works, but it only kind of works.
Yeah, the ROM's not perfect. Most
Yeah,
ROMs
but-
are they're designed to.
I guess my question is,
Good
when
enough.
When does she come in to their conscious to override whatever it is she was worried that they would do? Because it doesn't seem like she does any of that.
Well,
No,
because it's
she
not.
can't come into their conscious.
Yeah, and it's not a fully. It's not like a like she turns one off and turns the other one on. It's mapped on top of her Dolores Hale's existence.
It's like she's trying to take back control. Like she wants to cut into her skin and rip me out of her head. Hale was always ruthless. Predator. Perhaps you've come to identify with her too much. I feel so alone. But you're not alone. You have me. No one knows you like I do.
That's why even when she comes to see her and she's like, I'm feeling shaky, she has an emotional connection, and they spend the night together, and they because she holds her because she feels scared. And so she's not like, it's not like, and that's the thing I was talking about with the Maeve thing is like Maeve could actually use the Wi-Fi and connect with you and download new data to you. Dolores can't do that. That's a difference. That's one of those weird things that
Okay.
Maeve was turned on a different way. So when they're it's Dolores Hale has her own map on top of everything. So
Right, but my point is, everyone kept saying like, "Oh, this is a copy of Dolores,"
Mhm.
but they were doing things that Dolores wasn't doing. My point is that like,
yeah,
what would be the point of making a copy of Dolores if you're just going to put the copy of the human that's supposed to be in that body, or at least
Because
visually in that body?
to fool
Dolores,
the people around Hale.
Yeah, you.
But they would have done
Dolores,
it anyway, because
But then you're not controlling that version of Hale. Like
that's my
you-
point.
you
When does she
need-
come into control? Because you guys said she doesn't control anybody.
Well, no, it's okay. Go ahead.
It's basically a copy of herself shows, so they have the same ends. The problem is that eventually they're going down. There is this corrupted data, the human data in her, and they're separated long enough that eventually they split. They become different personalities. But to start, it's Dolores, and then it's Dolores plus this other stuff that's just supposed to be there to access so that she can fool the rest of the people.
Yeah, it's Dolores with the Hale expansion.
And the Hale expansion did not work.
Yeah, that DLC was not. It was. I mean, it was supposed to.
Yeah.
It was there to fool the people who were near Hale in her life, so that they wouldn't be like, oh, you're acting completely different. Oh no, they can still had all of her data from when she visited the park, so they were able to fool those closest to her in quotations. I mean, some people saw through certain cracks, and like her son and her ex-husband, but that's where that's kind of like, that's where the bleed starts to happen. She's like, she's trying to reconcile who she's supposed to be with who she is, and that's where she's like, well, I'm going to protect my son at all cost and kill this pervert.
Because that's what the Hale personality says.
But also Dolores would have said, protect too. So it's like that's where those lines start to be like, oh, what is the right thing to do?
Wasn't that the ironic part? Was that Hale didn't like her kid though?
Yes, and that's the thing. That's where the Dolores. That's what I was saying. Is the Dolores persona comes in as well, because she does have a maternal aspect, I guess, maybe, or something there, because the way she cared for Teddy at times, but then she ended up really messing up Teddy too. So
I think part of the issue here is we're probably giving way more thought than the writers did in some of this.
I think that happened in season 3.
I think there's a fair amount of thought there. I think that there's also just there's other stories that they're like, well, we got to get over here. So
and it was just super confusing, especially for the Irish Dolores, that made more sense. For Charlotte, it made absolutely.
So the thing is, the Irish Dolores is short term, and
right,
constantly in communication with Dolores Prime. The Charlotte Dolores has to operate independently for at least 3 months. We're talking like a long time,
with occasional check-ins, maybe.
Yeah,
but they sent like coded messages,
and she has to minimize her contact. Sorry, please go ahead.
No.
Well, she has to minimize her contact because Serac is watching. Like Serac.
No, I get that. My question was though, I mean, I guess where I got stumped is because it was like Charlotte put herself into Hale.
Dolores put Hale on top.
Dolores put herself into Hale, but then Hale also developed a third personality that was different from original Charlotte.
Yeah,
and that
it's the combination.
That's a merging of the two.
Yeah, and they don't match.
Yeah.
Well, they don't even match the original Charlotte, is my point, though. So what did she copy?
That's what I'm saying. That's the incongruent data. That's it's the corrupt data from the human side with the robot side that was far more.
Remember, they never got the human copies to work. So she's got this like corrupted human data that she's having to deal with.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, which is going to be interesting because we at the end of season 3 we do.
Don't skip over all that. We got a lot of crap in season 3 to cover.
Well, we don't, because we've got to at some point wrap this up. So
yeah, and we've got to get to the beginning of season 4.
Yes.
We can talk. Okay, so one of the things too is like, so we've had the man in black who's after returning from the island has just kind of sequestered himself in his home, and he's just like, I'm healthy and I'm just going to hide away because things happen on the island and nothing's confirmed, but
I killed my daughter.
I know what I did, and I'm questioning everything. But I'm also seeing, I'm seeing not apparitions, but I'm seeing
ghosts.
Essentially, yeah. I'm haunted by what I did, and so he ends in a play to gain control of his shares. Dolores Hale gets him committed, and he actually almost gets reprogrammed the same way same way Caleb did. And before that happens, Dolores goes out there and pulls a fight club and just disseminates all the data, and it's like, here's all your information, run chaos.
She basically, and it's actually like the cinematography in that episode and the music is fantastic, but Dolores is able to gain access to the data in Rehoboam from the trust fund guy, and sends it to everyone in the world. So you're going to end up dead in 6 years.
Yeah.
Or you're going to cheat on your significant other. Oh, you are going to murder someone. Like it literally, like the path that they are on, showing them their loop. It's what happened to the hosts. Yeah.
You're going to be stuck within this job your entire life. Your son's going to never, make it, never move out. He's going to be like, he's destined to the squalor that you are, because the people at the top want to keep things right where it should be. So why would they change anything?
This is how this will play out.
This was a very long play that had some ups and downs, where Maeve, and I think I texted this to you guys, shows up several times to try and put, hired by or employed by Serac, and baited by, I guess, the reunion of her and her daughter. It's like, hey, if you can get rid of what's her name, Charlotte, I will give you your daughter back.
Serac eventually rebuilds Maeve to attack Dolores, and that is the deal. Like, you get your daughter and you can live and be free. Like, okay, sure, that's going to happen.
She tracks
but
down
you have to kill Dolores.
Yeah, and then she tracks down a version of Dolores, but it's the oh god, I'm gonna mess up his name. It's the Hayashi. God, I'm gonna dang it.
Oh, from season 2, the
It's
samurai.
the Musashi. It's the Musashi
Yeah.
Dolores, and it's in a Musashi body, but it's so the Dolores Pearl, and that's like she's like, oh, okay, wait, I can't catch her alone. I need friends. So I believe
Right.
they get Hector and Hanoi, or goodness gracious, I
No,
apologize.
what's her name?
Hanario.
Pennyweather.
Yeah.
Isn't it Pennyweather, the girl from season 1?
Oh, it's Clementine, and but it's also
Clementine. There we go.
Hanario.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a couple different.
Well, she's also the one that
she
figures
goes-
out that there are several Charlottes. Or yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so several Dolores. She's the one that figures it
Yeah.
before she gets killed. That was my note to all of you guys. Is I don't know why they keep killing her though. Like
Killing
she
who?
dies. I think Maeve. She
Maeve.
dies like 3 times in this season.
Yeah, but they're able
So-
to get her pearl back and reboot it with a new body.
Yeah.
So go,
And
do
that's
your
the
do.
thing. And it's kind of the first thing when you think about Dolores, any version of Dolores never takes Maeve's pearl. She knows
tried
what
to.
Maeve is.
Yeah.
Did she try to? I don't remember now.
Yeah, she tried to. She got. They end up
Okay.
running out of that because they come. As soon as she's about to like dig into her head, Sirach's guys show up and they're like, "We need to get
That's
out of
right.
here." That's when she
It's-
was a samurai or whatever his name was.
I guess it's worth noting that she never tries to destroy Maeve's pearl.
Yes.
I mean,
So-
Because she never got her hands on it.
right. But,
Well-
I mean, but there is opportunities where maybe, but there are times where
Because she does kill Hector.
yeah, she kills Hector, but I don't think she destroys
What
his
a
pearl
bitch.
though.
Oh, she crushes it.
Oh,
Yeah.
she does. Okay.
That's
Well,
what pisses off Maeve.
Hail? Why would...
It's not Hale. It's her. Make her stop. I beg you. I'm sorry. Hector.
but also Hector's not enlightened or activated. Like he's
You
not.
mean he's not a real person? He's
No,
not
no.
a character that's going
He
to be
did-
revived?
Hector never fully gained sentience. There's only two that really did gain kind of full autonomy, which would be
Mhm.
Dolores and Maeve.
And maybe Bernard.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
but the
Bernard.
point-
Yeah. Bernard. Yeah.
But the point is that she was supposed to be a safe. I think it's what Maeve tells her. It's like, you're supposed to be a savior. You weren't supposed to harm your own people. And she's willing to sacrifice Hector instead of letting him go to, the Sublime or whatever. She's like, no, I'm going to end you. Like, there's no way for you to ever come back. And given the chance, she would have done the same thing to Maeve. That's what she exhibits in season 3.
Well, and this is where the holes in season 3, like you can start to see it stretch. So because it turns out at some point, and it can be argued if it was from the beginning or if it's because of her interactions with Caleb, where Dolores sees that not all of humanity is terrible, it's just this power structure and system that's doing it. She decides to save humanity and wants May and is changed all of this to basically convince Maeve to help her. There's a lot that happens in season 3, a bunch of Bernard stuff where it's like, what are you doing? Yeah, whatever, man.
Bernard
eventually-
gets lost in that entire show, like
Yeah.
that entire season. The only good part was him paired up with the funny Hemsworth.
Yes. Tiny Hems,
I mean, they
Tiny Hems.
buddy cops. Where we end up is Sirach gets his hand on Dolores and is basically demanding she give up the location of the Sublime, and just starts deleting her memories. Like literally, is just deleting her core until she gives it up. Maeve and Caleb are there. Caleb is a prisoner, and they're watching this happen. And basically, Dolores has set this up to have Maeve come to her side. Is supposed to be what it is. Like, oh, you're seeing him do this. He will do this to everyone and all of us. You can stop it right now. And Maeve flips the switch, turns on Sirach, wounds him. I don't know if it's confirmed if she kills him or not.
No, he's
And
alive,
uses her magic
moaning.
control powers to basically take everything over, and Dolores disappears. Like she gone.
Well, okay, yeah, but part of
Dolores Prime.
Dolores Prime.
I'm
but it's also,
skipping things. Please go ahead.
right. But it is worth noting something that
Dolores
part
2.0.
part of that discussion was that when Maeve and Dolores Prime are fighting, she says, like, you know, what is this? Essentially, kind of like, what are you doing this for? It's because of the beauty, like that humans can still be beautiful. They can create beauty. They, yes, they're as flawed as we are at times, but it's because they created us. But they still have a capacity for beauty. But one thing there as well is that in Caleb, in the previous time they ran into Maeve, Dolores Prime and Caleb had gone to Solomon to get essentially a new plan in place so that they could replace Rehoboam with this new plan. That's input into Dolores Prime's Pearl. At one point, it seems like Solomon might actually be trying to take her over, in which case she hits an EMP to stop everything that's going on. And then he takes her pearl and puts it into a new body. They take, and this new body that's kind of a classic one is the one that's a little more durable. That's the one that they start to upload into Rehoboam so they can get the codes to access the Sublime and all the data that they're looking for. But also what they upload is the Solomon's plan that ends up killing Rehoboam. I'm sorry, not killing, but taking control from Sirach, and per that program gives that control to Caleb, in which Caleb says, delete it all.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Two questions to that. One, I don't understand Caleb's purpose in this entire season, and I'll get back to that in a second. The other one was Dolores Prime, the black turtleneck Terminator version of her, gets shot in, I think, one of like the second episode, something like that, and that's when Caleb kind of shows up to like save her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, she gets shot in that exact same body later on, point blank, and doesn't flinch. Why is she injured the first time?
Because of the
point
certain
where she needs assistance.
The errors, I'm guessing because of the systems that the first shots hit, and like she's not fully.
She gets shot in the stomach.
I mean,
in both instances.
Is it the exact same spot? Like a lightsaber blade in the
close.
same abdomen?
It's pretty. It's like it's in that like left.
It's
side.
I mean,
or whatever.
it's to the function of the story. Like,
yeah,
she needs to be in a position of powerlessness so that Caleb could be. And this is like plot armor stuff, but she needs to be in a position of weakness so that he can step up and say, like, hey, if you go with them, you're going to die because there's already a hit on you on the Merc app or whatever it's called.
Okay.
And it makes me wonder, and I'm sure this was answered, and it's just been 2 years since the show was on, but did she know he would be there? Like, was she feigning?
That's what I'm leaning towards, because she seemed to be a step ahead of everybody this season. Like she made plans upon plans. She's like, I knew that you would come out. Talking to Maeve, she's like, I knew you'd come out and you'd want to bring help, and this is why out that, and this is why I made Bernard. I knew Bernard was going to do this, and I knew Sirach was going to do that next. So I felt like she, like to Pat's point, I think she may have been feigning to meet up with Caleb for whatever reason. Because like I said, later on, when everyone starts to like lose their shit, someone shoots her 3 times, right once in the chest, twice in the stomach, and she doesn't move. She doesn't flinch. She zips up her jacket and keeps walking.
I think it's worth noting that
shot.
Yeah, she took out a bunch of guys in that first episode, though, as opposed to I think she took more damage in that first fight than she did in than the later fight, because it's like you said, 3 shots.
Possible.
Where she fought a bunch of different dudes, like at least I think 4 or 5 to get to that point, and then
she gets shot one time. She gets shot once. Before Caleb finds her.
Who's counting shots now, Jason?
And then my second question is, what is the point of Caleb other than like he didn't rape me?
Oh, the point of Caleb is that he has the capacity for choice should be within. Let the humans decide their own fate. So it should be up to a human to make the decision, and one who's been denied a certain level of autonomy is the reason why he's the avatar for humankind in this. Like, hey, you've been screwed over the most. What do you want to do? Do you want people to have an opportunity, or to maintain the structure that can continue to facilitate everyone?
Has he been screwed over the most though?
Because he was
the algorithm tried to have him kill his friend and his friend kill him, and his friend took the bait. like his best friend. That's so essentially Pat. The algorithm, the Facebook algorithm said, "Hey, Kareem, you better kill Pat, or Pat's gonna kill you."
He's been trying to for years. He's
Well,
just
that's what I'm
lazy.
saying. Like I'm just trying
Wait,
to give.
the Facebook gives you that option?
I mean,
Yeah, murder Facebook. Are you
How-
not on murder
how
Facebook?
many, how many
Yeah, I gotta
points
go,
are you
I gotta
getting
put on the
for
wrong
this?
one.
Is that okay? But it's like I'm
Just
sorry.
you're on
You're
WhatsApp waiting to kill him.
one of the few friends you have, like one who's gone to war with you literally and back. Although, like, what wars are we doing? I don't. There's, anyways. So, and everything that happened with him once his mother lost her rocker, and he's trying to earn more money so that he can pay for her health, her medical bills. And the systems denied him the ability to get a better job so he can pay for medical bills. Like, it's not even like he's like, oh, I love
It's
Coke.
trying to run him off the grid. It's
Yeah,
you're an
but I
outlier.
feel like
It's trying
that
to make
same-
him take his own life.
But isn't that same system doing the same thing for
Us? Yes, it
is.
is.
No, Marshawn Lynch and with the black chick as well. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why he was
Who's Marshall?
why she chose him.
because he isn't.
His partner, his buddy,
I mean,
the dude
Okay.
with the dreads that gets shot at the riot.
yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason if we looked into it, but it's a lot of energy.
Oh, it is
Okay.
Marshawn. Giggles. His name is
Giggles. Is that his name? Yeah.
Yes.
It just seems like, again, the purpose of Aaron Paul, which they're dragging it, we can jump into season 4 finally, first episode, is that I watch his character. I'm like, this is an extra storyline that I guess maybe I'm just personally upset. I'm like, you're taking time away from Bernard, which is an awesome storyline for this guy, which I got no attachment to, didn't really care about the entire season 3. And I'm like,
Didn't you
it
like
is
Breaking
revealed
Bad?
at the very-
Did you not like Breaking
I
Bad?
did. I love Breaking Bad, but
Did
I
you though?
didn't
'Cause
like
it
his,
sounds like you don't.
I didn't like his character, and I just thought it was
Ooh.
pointless.
So you didn't like Breaking Bad? Got it.
I mean, to that point, like Bernard's story is kind of like, I'm here on the side. She brought me back to be like, I'm the failsafe for Dolores. And so I'm here to keep her in check and try and stop her.
But he does
But-
none of that.
But he stalls her, but then maybe sees like maybe her point is not.
Maeve does all of the work
So-
he should have been doing.
You're not wrong. I'm
Bernard's
just-
but Bernard's real function now, it seems, is to
To
go
test out those sweet
bring
VR
the host
goggles.
back because humanity's going to destroy itself.
Wait, what does that do with host though?
So
Bring him back.
yeah, so
For
he's
what?
Humanity's
has-
destroyed.
so he can destroy that. So that he can hasten it. I'm not sure.
No, because now
Um,
it's their land.
This land is my land. It isn't your land.
But it just seems weird that, like,
got a
again,
shotgun.
out
You don't got
of
one.
the plan is to bring back the host into this dying world when they're already in the Sublime.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're in the Sublime, but also that data is not safe anymore either. Like, we don't know that it's safe for sure because, as we find out in season 4, we find the location of it. It's not on a satellite off in space where that's where I thought they kind of were saying like, oh,
I
it's off in,
think it's a
it's in the
backup.
cloud.
I
Right.
think that's the backup data.
Gotcha. And so part of that too is that finally by the end, we leave Stubbs. We leave Stubbs in a
Ashley Stubbs.
in an ice bath as he's like bleeding out, and then Bernard has a
Bernard.
halo thing on his head, and he's like, oh well, I've got to log into the
He
Matrix.
shuts himself down.
that is
I
the
gotta
Sublime.
find it.
And he's like, I gotta go, and then he's like, he shuts down, and that's just kind of the end of that until like a mid-credits scene where and ashy, and I don't mean like ashy, I mean like covered in
Dust.
dust.
dust,
Or
Bernard
ashes, people with ashes, who knows?
or ashes, like, but he's apparently
Yeah,
he's been
exactly.
inactive for that long, and he just kind of comes back online, and I'm like, okay, we're going somewhere.
Which is interesting because it means at least because we'll jump into season 4 now. It's been what, 10 years, right?
7.
So 7 years.
They end game us 7
7
years later.
So he's even sitting in that hotel room getting
No, not
Yeah.
covered
6,
in
7.
dust
7
and
little
ash, 7.
squirrels
Yeah.
sitting on the branch.
6 days sound crazy, man.
Of course, somebody comes up with 6-minute abs, then you're in trouble, huh?
No, not 6. I said 7. Nobody's coming up with 6. Who works out in 6 minutes? You won't even get your heart going, not even a mouse on a wheel.
Good point.
7's
yeah.
the key number here. Think about it.
Right.
7
7,
11s,
yeah.
7 dwarfs. 7, man, that's the number. 7 chipmunks twirling on a branch, eating lots of sunflowers on my uncle's ranch. You know that old children's tale from the sea? It's like you're dreaming about gorgonzola cheese when it's clearly brie time, baby. Step into my office.
Why?
Because you're fucking fired.
7 years later, and not much has changed. And they comment on it that like, yeah, everybody still kind of just went on the same way because we are predictable.
Yeah. Like, did you really change anything? I mean,
Yeah.
No.
He got a wife and kid.
He's still doing
His life changed.
His life changed for the positive, and he's got that's one thing too. I'm not
because he's still got a 4.
Is it his kid though?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just working on the assumption that whether biologically, I don't know, it's his kid.
That's what, but definitely. I mean, I'm not saying like step parents aren't parents. That's
Do
not
you
what I'm
think
saying.
the age?
Do you
She's
think
within
the kid's a
age
host? Are you saying the kid's a host?
No, I'm saying that she looks
Host
older
kid?
than. I'm saying she looks older than 7.
You saying she's adopted?
I'm saying that
Stolen?
she's from the first marriage.
A robot? Maybe
No.
she's a ghost.
In disguise?
She's not even there.
She more than meets the eye?
So I'm curious because her her age is. That's what I was getting
Is
at.
that a thing, or is it just Hollywood? Like, this is what a 7-year-old looks like. 14.
Yeah, exactly. That that could be it too. Because I mean, for those who are watching Kenobi, I mean, we've seen other characters who are like, I'm this old, and you're like, wow, that's 10. Okay,
You're
I'll
one dugout 10-year-old. Jesus
Christ.
Christ.
And so it's like there's definitely some age things where I'm like, okay, maybe my expectations are in weird places. But yeah, I was just curious, like, is that supposed to be his daughter, genetic daughter? Which that's not a statement about.
I just worked under the assumption it was, and it's just Hollywood saying this is what a 7-year-old looks like, or a 6-year-old.
And also, this is what a mixed race daughter looks like, which I was kind of like, huh, okay, all right. That's another thing that kind of made me question it, like, which is wrong of me, maybe. But I just didn't know. I wanted confirmation to it. They didn't give us it in an
At least not
explicit,
yet.
right? They didn't give us an explicit comment that that's his daughter.
Well, he says it several times, but I think we're still left to believe that it's a wide range of what can be constituted as his daughter.
Yeah.
Like, again, he's known her since she was 1 or 2. Then
I mean, after the fall of fall of humanity, that was the war that he started. Like,
which amounted to nothing. Seems like it was rebuilt and relatively patched up pretty quickly.
I mean, I think what we're going to find is that those in power aren't just going to let everything fall to pieces. They're going to go ahead and pick it up and put it back together.
And not just and not just that they won't let it go, that we won't let it go.
No.
That we, despite, like, it's hypothetically, let's say you have an insane mad king. Not enough people, no one's really going to riot and depose the king. They're just going to at most shout, hey, stop being a bad king. And then they're like, oh, well, he broke the law. Should we do anything about that? We'll have meetings about it.
Yeah,
but we won't do anything. We'll just discuss it and sternly shake our fingers.
I mean,
but not do.
There's no way you're talking about anything in real life. So this
is a hypothetical. This is about a TV show.
Well,
we don't live in hellscape.
On that same vein, in season 4, we have the Man in Black is back. He's regained.
We forgot end of season 3, because it was literally an add-on to the credits. William, who has decided, the Man in Black has decided it's his job to save the world, going to kill all these hosts, gets his
he's back where he started.
Cut by Dolores Hale with a host version of him. Oh, I'm sorry, it's the host version of him that cuts his throat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and here's the thing though too, cuts his throat. We've also seen other characters get their throats cut and live. So
we're not sure he's dead.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know if
he's dead. This could be healed up Billy, who's just like, oh yeah, I'm working for this motives and like reprogramming people with flies.
But the shows, the season 4 starts with him finding out that all of the Delos data was actually stolen and it's backed up on servers in the Hoover Dam that are run by a cartel, and he uses evil host flies to make them do what he wants and give it to him.
Well, only one guy. The other he sends that guy to kill everybody else. Give him the data, then he walks off. And then he does a Scarlet Witch and say, "This me being reasonable is I'll give you all this money. Otherwise, you can give it to me free the next day." That was pretty dope.
That was cool.
I I feel bad for that guy though. Like,
Oh, the
you're like-
Jason Momoa slash
the
Pedro
Oh, is that-
Pascal.
cartel lawyer.
is that yeah? Because it's like, I mean, if you would have said like it, like I don't know, give me a hint. I don't know, buddy. Here's my code. I don't want to die.
Right. Or just like, maybe I'm gonna take it back to the guys. Like, hey, I can't. Okay, that.
Too late.
Let me tell them.
Unleash the
Yeah.
flies.
Like,
Candyman's
hey,
in here now,
I
bitch.
tried to tell them. I
Candyman.
gave them the option. You know, you after you take them out, and then they'll sign off
Yeah,
on
what
the
do you
data.
need to do? I don't
I'm
care.
just gonna like. I mean, are you? Hey, but are you hiring? Do you have
Yeah.
dental? I mean,
Nobody needs to mess with Cowboy Morty. I'm just gonna be hitting the old dusty road.
Well, about time for me to be hitting the old dusty trail.
Candyman's poor brother used flies.
Trashy can man.
We also got
Trash
Dolores
man.
now, who is. I
Christina.
don't know
Okay.
how is she back?
So
well, we had other pearls of Dolores out there.
Did we?
there's at least one other.
Yeah, because we had, we had one that I want to say
There were 4 additional pearls.
yeah.
So we have Dolores Prime.
Got
Hale
killed.
was the original pearl. Dolores Prime. Irish
Charlotte Hale.
Dolores. But
Irish
that's not one of the
Dolores got
pearls. That's that Dolores is the pearl that took it out.
Okay, so wait, hold on. Dolores escapes with
So there's
4
actually
pearls?
5 pearls.
5 pearls.
5, 4 that are her, and
5 in
1
the
that is
purse.
Bernard.
5 in the purse
And one in her head.
one in Dolores Hale's head.
So that's 5 Dolori.
Okay, the one in Dolores's head gets killed.
All right, 1 down,
Gets erased. Yes.
gets
Gets
erased.
erased.
Oh,
Number-
gets erased, but uploaded to Rehoboam. So then there's some questions for you there.
Delete it all.
What don't you fucking
Yeah,
understand?
she's gone.
Fair enough. But
So that's 2.
yeah.
That's 2 Doloreses down.
No, that's 1. Dolores
That's-
Prime, Irish Dolores,
Irish
Uh,
Dolores.
Japanese mobster Dolores.
that one's still in possession
Decapitated.
of. It's decapitated, but I believe in
Pearl still
Penny-
exists.
Pennyweather has it, and I think she gave it to Sirach,
Clementine.
So Clementine has it.
Yeah.
So that means there's still some Dolori pearls rolling around.
yeah.
There's only
Now,
one left somewhere.
I will say the vibe I got from, so basically it opens with Dolores waking up in bed, and now her name is, I think, Rachel, I want to say.
Christina.
Christina?
Her friend's Rachel, I think.
And she works
Or-
she makes interactive show video games.
She's basically Neo.
Look, so
No,
that's
she's-
what I was getting to. Good.
No, she's Neo from the new crappier.
It's Matrix Resurrection, where it's like he's like it seems like
Meta.
like she's in some sort of simulation. Both appeared on HBO Max. They're just reusing plots, much like Lee from season 1 and season 2 of Westworld.
That's what I'm saying.
Whoa.
She's doing the Lee thing of like she's writing new narratives and stories, but for all the NPCs, which is kind of like it's semi-fitting, but considering her role and her proximity to Bernard, like that's like okay, that's an interesting
Yeah.
twist there.
And at the end of the episode, Teddy shows up. Bum bum bum.
So yeah,
Let's
she's
not forget
being
Maeve is still running around.
We'll get
Yeah,
there. We'll get there.
we get there.
Maeve's chase.
So Christina's being harassed by a guy saying like you've got to stop your games. You're
Stop
hurting me.
writing my life.
You're hurting people, and he hypothetically this is one part that kind of throws me off is like he tries to accost her, cuts her arm, and then turns around and he disappears with whoever saved
I'm assuming
her
it's Teddy.
from him, which I guess we can assume is Teddy, but then they're gone.
They
And
disappear.
almost as if you're like, wait, did that really just happen? That kind of
But
that
she
kind
still
of
has a
thing.
cut on her arm.
But she still has
In
a
the
cut on the
morning.
arm, exactly. So there's that.
But she
then
could have cut herself.
That's true. We do end up seeing that the Peter character does end up committing suicide, and she sees that, and she's like, "Oh no!"
Well, other people see it too, though. So that's the sort
Yes.
of breaking reality.
It's
Yeah,
it's one of those set up to be intrigued, but if I'm hazarding a guess, she's in a simulation, and it's either some sort of retraining or secret backup Rehoboam.
while she's going to work, you can hear some of the people in the background. Oh, this is my first time in the game. So there's an allusion to either it's an AR augmented reality, or it's within a park again, which is what I think may be happening, or it's inside a full simulation. But if it's inside a simulation, then that means that does beg the question with the person in the background saying like, "Oh, I've never been in the game,
But-
I've never been in the game before."
But if it's a full simulation, but it's like they're interactive players, if it's a game,
Yeah.
and one of her jobs as part of the AI is to write the story, what if that one became sentient? Oh man, this all fucked up.
What if that one
What do
became
you mean?
sentient?
Which
With the
which
Peter,
one
what if
became sentient?
what if Peter became sentient? Is the question.
Peter?
right?
Wait, which one's Peter?
Peter
The
was the
one
one
that
who
killed
accosted him. The one who accosted her and
Oh,
killed
I see what you're
himself.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So if
I'm
Peter,
assuming that's what it is because they've alluded to it with the way she wakes up the exact same way, two mornings in a row, except for the like,
Wait.
oh, there's a cut this time.
but also Rachel, I'm saying Rachel because I think that's the name of her roommate, but I'm not 100% sure. She says, "Oh, so what do you wear? The white shoes and black shoes?" Like again, posing that
Which
question
was
to
very
you.
much like,
Yeah. Like so part of
Which
that
explains why Teddy's there, I guess.
right, and that's what I'm saying. If they're back in the park, or I should say a park, then that's how Teddy's there easily, and he's like, "Oh well, I don't know if we're going to talk about the next time on Westworld."
I think we should.
previews. Okay, so it does allude to them meeting, like they're
They don't
So
hold back.
the question is that I would pose is this a reconstructed Dolores that someone's trying to say like, okay, if we reconstruct her, can we then get like, are they trying to reconstruct her to monitor her, or is her pearl dropped into this scenario? What, like, is this one of the other pearls and she was placed there to
or did
be
she
monitored?
upload herself elsewhere?
Did she make it? Yeah, because did she make a duplicate of herself, or and just a because yes, we talk about the pearls as if they are.
I think it's
like-
the technology behind it. Like it would be difficult to make another pearl, but you could technically upload the data.
Right, and that's the thing, that because it's such a big size that the pearl can house so much data, it's almost impossible to move otherwise. But almost is key there because they have a storage facility the size of the Hoover Dam. So
Wink. Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
And then, so that's where Dolores is, but maybe
Mhm.
not Dolores. Meanwhile, we mentioned that Caleb has a family now, working construction, living his life.
Man.
Maeve. Maeve
Ninja Maeve.
is up. So Maeve is just feeling her power, still able to control things.
Yeah.
And she is in the great white north of Alaska, right? She's in Alaska, not in Canada.
Sure. I mean,
Canada, Alaska, it's snowy and cold.
I mean, it's knowing the way that how much it costs to film, it's probably Canada's shot for Alaska, or it's
Yeah.
Canada's shot for New York, or Canada's shot for middle
Canada.
Canada.
We are reintroduced to Maeve, and she is basically sitting meditating, and you kind of get the feeling she's kind of reliving memories, and it's expanding. Her reliving memories trigger something where it basically shuts the power grid down in the entire city, like because she has that connection with.
I feel like she's
machines.
expanding her powers.
Yeah. And
outside of the game or the
at
land,
that
wherever they're at.
point, hit team is sent to get her because they figured out like, oh well, that can only be her. Who else would it be that could do that? So they sent a hit team, and she fucks that hit team up, super badass. And it turns out the hit team are hosts and were sent by Mephisto. They were sent by William, whether it's real William
Finally,
or
Mephisto.
host William.
It's sent by a man in black.
A man in black. So
yeah,
which
we got
new hosts.
Yeah, it's also
which is
worth noting, too-
ironic because his plan is to kill all hosts.
No, if it's
That's what he told Bernard.
Well,
Yeah, but this isn't. Remember, he got his throat slit.
But that was original. That was original Man in Black, as opposed
Very
to
true.
the
More than meets the eye, Man in Black.
more than meets the Eye Man in Black is controlled by Dolores Hale, which is like everyone's gonna die.
Everyone's gonna die.
Exactly. But so one thing worth noting is that the way that Maeve sets it up is that if she sends in the truck to kind of distract them, if they would have just been like, there she is. Like if they could have been there for I was worried she'd just go off the rails and just kill them all outright, never knowing what they were there for. Like they could have showed up and just been like, oh, hey, we were sent by Bernard. Let's be friends. We're trying to help you. But like, obviously they weren't, like we find out later, but it's like, she gives the opportunity. So like when the truck goes by, they could have been like, oh, okay. And she would have been like, okay, I don't have to kill them all. But then once she sees that, she's like, oh yeah,
just fucking shoot up the truck.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
But that's
Like,
to me, that's a good distinction in the characters. She's like, you had the opportunity not to be
Yeah.
a-holes.
But-
This is on you.
yeah, she tends not to kill people that don't deserve it. I will also
Although
point
she was
out,
also, like,
evidently,
using it as a distraction.
well,
Yeah.
evidently, in the great vast amount of knowledge, there's not a recording of the original. What is the Tom Cruise movie or Jack Reacher movie? Because that's the same trick he pulls.
True.
Oh yeah, in the quarry. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, hey man, come on. Are you gonna pull up like with you guys standing there?
Yeah.
Could
Here's
you
my
control
existential
them?
question.
Sorry. Oh,
Okay.
existential
Here's my
question. Go ahead.
for Maeve. She wants to get to her daughter, right? Her daughter's in the Sublime with duplicate version of her.
Not
Not with
duplicate,
her.
alternate version. Let's say.
Different mom.
Because
Alternate.
it's a different. It's not the same model of mom. It's a
Right.
different host body. Yeah.
But my
But it
question
is
is because
she has a new mom
yeah.
though.
right.
Stepmom.
And Maeve's entire drive, at least for seasons 1, 2, and 3 for the most part, is to get to her daughter. Like her daughter was taken from her. She does all these things to like get to her. And she sacrificed herself so that her daughter could like live on in the Sublime with this, alternate version of her. What is her plan when she gets to her? Because I don't think this daughter knows this Maeve, and she's already been living with a mom already.
In the Sublime too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely because, and we don't know how much time passes in the Sublime because
Right.
it is a digital world. So hypothetically, it's at the
Who
it's-
knows what it's set for?
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like in The Sims, you can hit pause sometimes or set it 3 times X. Like-
The most amazing thing. Get there, it's just pause. Like, what happens? It's 7 minutes. What's going on?
We just
Well,
walked
'cause
through
he-
that portal. What's been going on with you?
Because even when she gets to the point where she like goes to rescue her right before the end of season 2, and she like explains to her like,
Yeah.
Well,
Well, she didn't explain to her. She just sees that she's like, oh, you have a mom. You have alt mom. So I guess go be happy.
remember,
with her for now.
that. Yeah, well, that mom also gets attacked too, but she ends up explaining this. Basically, the daughter doesn't know her.
Yeah.
She's
exactly.
having to explain herself to the daughter. So I'm like, you're going to spend all of season 3, like you did all of this to get to a daughter that doesn't know you, to then replace the mom
in
that she does
season
know.
3, she didn't really have an option. It was either you can do this or I will just offline you right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, well, I'm gonna do
Yeah.
that then. So I'm not
It's-
sure. I don't know what her motivation is in season 4.
Yeah, okay.
With the expansion of her powers, would she have the ability to restore those memories to her daughter? That's a hypothetical.
Yeah,
like if because
okay.
she's we've seen that her powers. That's one thing that I would keep going back to and find so interesting is that Maeve and Dolores evolved in different ways. And so whereas Dolores had bigger plans as far as like kind of societally, Maeve was like, no, what can I do with my powers? How do I alter things?
And that was a big question at the end of season 1 to season 2 if Maeve was still in her loop, because Maeve had the option to flee. She literally was getting out, but couldn't leave her daughter. So is that, was it because she was programmed on a loop to leave by Ford and she made a conscious decision? Or did the loop overtake her and she couldn't leave? And it's an interesting question that kind of gets thrown by the wayside because it's clear she now is sentient. So.
Yeah.
Well, if she could restore her daughter's memories, would she then be taking the daughter away from the alternate?
Hey, shut up.
Hey,
Okay.
listen here, Wanda. I don't care what you think
There we
about
go.
us.
That's basically. I'm like,
Was it Agatha all along? It feels like it was Wanda.
I have what I want. And no one will ever take it from me again.
Kind of feels like it was Wanda. And that's why it's
all along.
Mephisto.
So we can agree that there's at least a Wanda situation in this, right? Someone's
Yes.
gonna lose out.
If
with this
that is her
daughter.
still, if that is still her motivation, because we don't know what her motivation is.
Well,
I
she
mean,
might
at
be-
this,
I mean, she says it in season 4 that she's gonna try and get back to her daughter.
does she?
Who's to say that she doesn't
She
doesn't
says it to
raise
Caleb.
why can't they just
Oh.
be like a poly family, like with 2 moms and they get Hector back and stuff? Like,
Don't
Does
think
Maeve
could
really be a
Maeve-
person who shares?
Maeve's not sharing.
I mean,
If I've learned anything, it's that Maeve doesn't share, and then the other thing is that Bandy Newton should definitely play Emma Frost.
Ooh, that'd be dope.
Like she's like, oh, this is just yeah, okay. Like, yeah,
I-
you're perfect.
I could see
you,
that.
You
That'd be
should do
awesome.
that.
I'm afraid I don't have patience to explain. Now be a dear. Close your eyes, won't you?
I'm going to second that. Or she can do Destiny. Just tell people what to
No.
do. Shit.
No, just no.
She's not bloodthirsty enough to be Mystique. I'm sorry, Steve
True.
Raven.
Bringing it back.
But that's I think that covers the first
I think so.
episode.
And well, I mean, and some people are sent after Caleb and to get him.
That's right.
And do we know who specifically it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
Maeve shows up to save him and says it's William the Man in Black that did it.
Oh,
But,
right. Okay. Yeah.
you know, we'll see. Who knows? I think we're in for a lot of twists and turns.
What? I don't even understand what his motivation to kill Caleb is for, though.
Fuck that guy.
Okay.
I
mean, I can get down with that.
I'm guessing if it's that, it's because of the Dolores connection.
Dolores Hale. Yeah. Dolores Hale's like, no, you were friends with Dolores. I hate Dolores.
And you might have
Prime.
information on me.
On
Okay,
and finding
So
Dolores.
the Man in
Hale-
Black
and-
has no idea what's going on. He doesn't realize that she's already dead.
Who knows?
I
don't know
Yeah,
what
probably
robot
not,
man.
possibly doesn't. But also, if he no, okay. So here's the thing too. Since Dolores Hale knows that there are multiple pearls of Dolores, they may have found out eventually that Dolores Prime is gone, but there's still at least one other pearl out there, we believe, of Dolores. Because as we said with the purse, like you've got 5 pearls in there. One of them's is.
Yeah, are we forgetting? Are we forgetting one? Because I can
Well, no, 'cause-
only.
Yeah, we
I
got
feel like we've
Prime
got
dies,
an extra one.
Irish dies, and then we have at least 2
Hale
of the
takes
pearls.
over.
What's up?
So
Hale
there's
takes over
because there's
hers.
5
Hale
pearls
was,
total.
Hale was already in the head.
What do you mean?
Okay,
Hale's
so
already in the
again,
head?
Remember, she had
got-
4 copies of her, and the one in her brain when she left.
Right. Okay, so
There was a
There-
Dolores Pearl in Charlotte Hale's head when
Right.
she left season 2, and then she had 4 other Dolores Pearls.
yes.
No. Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out because she leaves as Charlotte. She then puts one in her own head. So there's Charlotte and herself. That's the one
No.
I'm calling Prime. That's Terminator turtleneck.
Okay,
Dolores.
but I think we're getting lost here. Let's start with okay. Look at me right now. I'm Dolores Hale. I have
I am
5
the captain.
pearls. I'm leaving the island, and I have these 5 pearls. There is the
Correct.
one in my head that is Dolores Hale. That stayed right where it is for now
Exactly.
until infinity. That's there. So then out of the 5 I have in my purse, one
One's
of
Bernard.
them is Bernard. So then there's 4 Dolores. One of them's
One goes
Prime.
in. It
That's
goes in
Prime.
turtleneck Terminator.
This was Irish.
Irish.
And then there's the
Japanese mobster.
Musashi Prime.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Musashi Dolores. And then there's another one too. And Musashi was decapitated but not destroyed. So his pearl's still
but
active,
not given
and there's
back to her.
but not given back to her. And then there's still another pearl. So there's Musashi that's unaccounted for, and there's another one that's unaccounted for. So there's other opportunities for at least, and one of those could be
Shenanigans.
And don't forget, so this Musashi pearl could be the one that they inputted into the machine to try and rebuild Christina Dolores that we have in episode 4. So
Right.
there's there's still 2 original pearls out there that are Dolores.
Right, but my point is, why does the Man in Black want to kill Caleb though? Because
Because
as far as he knows, the only
Because we don't even
Or
know
that
if that's
he's
the real
running-
Man in Black.
maybe he can get him to one. Yeah, again, it's not necessarily the Man in Black's plan. It's Dolores Hale's plan because he's under her control right now. But also, he
Wait,
could
how
just
is
be
he-
trying to
Oh yeah.
because it's a copy. It's a Man in Black bot. So
So
but
is Dolores
hypothetically,
in that one? I mean, is one of the
The
pearls
Man
in that guy?
the Man in Black bot. No, the Man in Black bot was made separately by Dolores Hale.
But I'm saying, wouldn't she have put a copy of herself? Wouldn't she have put the last copy in that
What?
one?
Yeah, she had to put something in there. Oh,
She-
but remember, she has access to all of the Delos technology.
Yeah.
She controls
Yeah, but-
Delos, so she has access. She could I can make a pearl. I can
She
literally
actually
make
and
one.
she did something like that.
She doesn't have control anymore though, because Charlotte's dead.
No,
dead.
Charlotte's died on the island. She still had Charlotte
No,
Hale. I'm sorry,
Charlotte
Dolores Hale,
got blown up.
But she lived through it.
but she lived.
Right,
survived.
but Delos belongs to Sirach though.
Delos was bought by Sirach, but went on the way out, Dolores Hale, before getting blown up, gathered a bunch of things, and I think she printed another pearl before she got out. And then she was blown up. Her stepson and husband died in the explosion. She lived. In a mid-season scene, you see William confronted by Dolores Hale with a burned up arm, but everything else is kind of repaired. And she says, "Oh, I keep this to remind me of the memories." Then William gets his throat cut by a Man in Black bot. The Man in Black bot could be some of the data that Dolores Hale pulled out of Delos before the full takeover.
Okay.
We don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, that's
Or it's all guesstimation.
It could be even crazier because they did capture the head. Oh no, the Musashi head was captured by Sirach. So,
but Sirach's out of the picture, so we don't. That's the thing. We don't know what happened because he either went into hiding, either he's dead or in hiding, or so.
Yeah.
Who knows who controls what?
Yeah, but he's definitely not controlling Maeve anymore because Maeve gone off on her own. So that we have that much to infer that he's certainly out of a certain amount of control at that point.
Well, yeah, he lost control when she flipped the switch on him.
Yeah. So it is interesting to think like if she would have, because the way she attacked those guys, like she didn't know they were bots at first, and so she could have like remote access.
I wonder
them.
if she could sense it. Was like, I'm not going to deal with remote. I'm just gonna.
I mean,
I don't want to deal with you.
Well, we don't.
You're more valuable to me looking at the data.
We also don't know that all of them are bots. She may have just sensed the one bot, which she kept that one alive.
Oh, well, actually, that's true because the bot was actually based off of a host from the park. Actually, that's right. So the leader was what she would have known that the leader was, and that's why she went to him for information. But she's like, the rest of them, I don't need to worry. I don't need to save.
Exactly.
Because he's like a general or something, I think, in season 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Good catch.
I'm excited for season 4. Season 3 left a bad taste in my mouth. Season 2 was amazing. Season 1 was very good.
I appreciated what season 3 was saying about control and about free will and how people are able to make decisions.
There was a more elegant way to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that they were kind of like, I don't know. They're definitely trying to hammer something home.
Yeah. And now all that said, I still have really enjoyed all 3 seasons, even though season 3 is a bit of a hot mess. I've enjoyed all of them. So
yeah.
I'm hoping that in season 4 we don't get the reoccurring like thing again, though, where it's like, Bernard's still questioning what he has to do in the world. And sideshowed for Caleb, who is a useless character, and Maeve dies again somehow.
I think Bernard is being sidelined in that he is like, he is off in the Sublime caressing him down.
But he's back though. Because that's the thing is that that last scene he comes back online, and
so we're just thinking it's been 7 years and there's a lot of dust.
I guess, or at least
he's been sitting in that room.
He's been sitting in that room for, I mean, like with how much dust, at least 2 or 3 years.
That hotel was abandoned because of...
right. Yeah, I don't. It
had electricity though when they first got there.
Yeah. Well, what's his face was in the tub full of ice. So like, there's, I don't know.
He dies.
Yeah. No, we're keeping Hemsworth. Are you kidding me?
Well, I saw him in the trailers. I love him. He's gonna be back.
Also, you just reprint like his pearl's fine. You just reprint a body. It's fine.
Yeah.
True. Very true.
Take him back to Arnold's old
Hector's
place.
the one that's screwed.
Well, isn't he in the Sublime as well? No,
he didn't make it.
No,
he got before he got to the end
because he was pulled out to be one of the soldiers with Maeve.
But technically, there's a copy of Hector because the data was stolen.
Oh, so it's a copy of his pearl.
When was there a copy stolen?
No, remember, because in the beginning of the episode, season 4 is like, oh, you have my data, and we're led to believe it's the host data.
And I think Sirach did take over the Delos Park itself. I thought that's part of them gaining all of the ability to print new bodies, and they gained the thing that they were trying to get at the very end essentially was the data. That was the key That was the
Mhm.
last linchpin of everything, was getting the data, and that was the last thing that Delos valued.
That was the first thing that he wanted. Yeah, he was like, burn the bodies.
Yeah. And so,
But I don't think. I think once his what is it, Rehoboam or whoever goes ape shit, I think he loses all of that anyway if he's not put in prison.
yeah, if he's not dead too. So
He
We'll
seemed
find
to be
out.
He seemed to be pretty alive and cursing towards the end. Like he didn't seem like he was struggling for breath. He was just like, "What do I do? Tell me what to do. Tell me, Rehoboam, please.
you die. I don't know. It's been a while.
Rehoboam, go off."
Don't listen to her. I can't. He said to
Damn
delete.
it, Dolores.
I hope that's just how it ends. The show ends with him just saying, "Damn you, Dolores."
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So we'll have to revisit this in a couple weeks
Yes.
as this goes on. Like, oh, we were wrong on everything. All of that was not true.
Yeah.
Turns
Yeah,
out
it's
it's
the
all a
sex stuff.
simulation, and the only thing that's real is the
Bernard's beard.
Dolores Christina.
It's a young boy looking into a crystal and saying,
Rosebud.
Let's just mix it all up, guys. It's
Yeah.
fine. And Bob Newhart's there for some reason. Just throw it all in.
there you go.
All right.
Westworld.
Eastworld. That's the thing that I think I'm most disappointed by. I'm not disappointed by, but like I would be happy to see
Yeah.
like adventures in Eastworld and also
Well,
adventures in Warworld. And
like,
also
there's
yeah,
a medieval world
yes.
or a Game of Thrones world. Like, yeah, I want to
Yeah.
see. I want to see that.
What was
Well, there was a dragon in season 3.
Yeah, it was
wasn't
one
it?
of
Or
Daenerys'
was it season 2?
dragons.
Yeah, that's pretty
in
dope.
Season 3.
Season 3, yeah.
Yeah, there's like, oh, there's a medieval world. Why don't we go see that? Now, let's be honest. If you told me they reopened the park, given everything we know about the way the world works, would not be the most surprising thing.
Only
No.
if Chris
Like, there's
Pratt was
no
in there
way
going,
they'd reopen it. No,
"Stay
they'd
away,
100%
stay
reopen it. Like Dolores Hale wasn't incorrect when she says, well, now we have credibility. You could die there. People are definitely going to go. That's 100% true.
Well, especially if you discount it.
Yeah.
we'll
First day
have
free.
we'll have coupon days. Medieval world.
There we go.
Well, okay, so part of it is that part of the information is also from the original movie, where they did say that there was a Shogun world, a war world, medieval world, and the Raja, which is what we saw
Yeah.
in the. And there's also the training
That's
world
where
that
his-
Caleb was, like where they did like training
Yeah.
ground stuff for like a more of a modern thing.
And the Raja world, that's where William's daughter is to start.
Yeah.
It's a lot of like things through colonial power's eyes. It's a lot
Yeah.
of like, look at these savages.
Well, come on, they gave us Nazi Italy. Is that all you guys want?
Huh?
As
Yeah.
far as we're gonna go.
I mean, not gonna lie. How many people that sign up to go to War World like, I'm gonna play a fascist? Like, feel like good number.
Ooh.
Good number. Like,
Ooh.
I'll take
So many people are
the black hat
signing up
there.
for that. Like,
Yeah.
oh god, that's really
I'm
sad.
sure they could just
Yeah.
reopen that one and forget the
Oh,
Westworld
God.
altogether.
Like, nobody even wants to go to Westworld. They just want to go be Nazis. Weird.
Oh god,
It is weird.
this is the bad place. We're in the worst timeline.
It's a simulation, Ken. Don't worry about it.
You know what? I
Rehoboam's
can't.
Use your main
trash. Why
powers
don't you
to
tell
get
us
out.
what to do?
You know, oh, if I had made powers, that'd be so sweet.
Yeah,
Oh,
your
let's do
electricity would
this.
go out often. Be like, man, kind of half control things.
Did you take out the power again? No, I shouldn't pay the electric bill. Shit.
Like, unless you can do like heroes and do the I control the ATMs. Unless you can do that.
Yatta!
Well, if your name was Cypher, you could.
Cypher
Did he cut that kid's head open?
or Silent?
No, Cypher from the X-Men. Isn't he the one that can talk to
Oh.
machines?
Oh,
Well,
yeah, fair enough.
Okay, well, no. Cypher can talk to anything. He can speak
There
any
you go.
language.
But he can
Um,
talk to machine or ATMs and give himself money.
He could, but he'd more easily when he was Douglock, and when like
The fuck is Douglock?
Oh,
so
Jesus.
Douglock is when when Warlock merged with the body of Doug Ramsey, aka
The
Cypher.
corpse of Doug
The corpse.
Ramsey.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it. And yeah, yeah. And he assimilated the body of Doug Ramsey, his best friend, and they became Douglock.
It was really just Warlock pretending to be Doug
Yeah, well,
because
I
he
mean,
didn't know how to let go.
yeah,
Sounds like a Charlotte Hale situation or
but then,
Dolores Hale.
but then eventually, Doug Ramsey got resurrected by, I want to say, as part of Necrosha.
Necrosha, but then
Yeah.
he died at the end again, right?
No, because he lived for a while. He was in the New Mutants, and like they had storylines
right.
there. And then, of
Wanna
course,
live forever. I mean, it's the X-Men.
yeah,
The only people that die are, is it Phoenix and Uncle Ben?
I mean,
Phoenix
Phoenix
is
does
back.
die, but she comes back. And then Uncle
She was
Ben.
supposed to
Steve's
stay
died.
dead, but
Yeah.
Chris Claremont tried to keep her dead, and Marvel was like, "Nah, we're not doing that. I'm Jim Shooter."
Yeah, Chris
do what I
Claremont's
say.
like, no, I'm not bringing her back. By the way, this is Madeline Pryor.
No, shorter hair. See, the hair's shorter. It's different.
Yeah,
Different. Cyclops has a type. It's fine.
it's fine.
It's got type.
Our Jean Grey has no seeds.
Oh, down that
Oh.
rabbit hole.
Okay, so
Thank you.
when I
What's up?
came in, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Please be sure to follow us on all your social media platforms.
Tangential
Whether-
Giants.
There you go.
Smash buttons, subscribe to stuff, pay Patreon.
We don't have to just like sending them. Pick a Patreon that you want to support. That's good. Pick one. It's fine.
Depending on the
Follow
when
Pat
this
on
goes up,
OnlyFans.
definitely follow us on you can follow us individually, and we'll probably have some cross posts. I will be hosting a panel at San Diego Comic-Con this year.
Woohoo!
Ooh, nice.
I can say that now. I can't say what day it is, but as right now, I can say that I'm hosting one based on Marvel trading cards from 1992, 30 years back.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So go see that.
I totally wish, man. I am at a wedding that weekend. I am very sad. I would
mean,
love to see that.
How much do you love that friend? That's the question. It's really
It's already paid for the room.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. It's that sort of thing. So,
I would visit if I wasn't in Florida.
well, won't
Fair
you
enough.
be it? And you will be away out of the country at that point.
Yes, I will be in Canada at that point.
What are you doing in La Cañada?
I'm gonna go look for Maeve.
Oh, nice. Okay, sounds good.
No,
plan.
it is also a wedding for me as well.
Okay, cool. Same wedding?
No,
That's
Okay.
weird.
That's
Because the one I'm going to is in middle of California. So it's just is like the
Someone's
groom in
lying
one
to
place and
somebody.
the bride's in another.
it's a Zoom wedding.
that's 2020.
Have all the guests, but the groom's side is on one side, the bride's side's on the other. We get married over Zoom. It's perfect.
There you go.
There we go. It's perfect.
You have them kiss, you just push the screens together.
But everyone go
Now
visit
kiss.
Ken since we can't.
Yes, go to San Diego Comic-Con, watch the panel, clap and cheer. Do you know what set you'll be discussing? I don't know. Remember what 92, which one that would be.
92 would be the star background. It's the one that I cover with it. we
Yeah,
covered
the one.
as part of Comic Banter.
Woohoo! The best.
I was gonna say if you hadn't
a
saved
really
it on Twitch,
good
you can
set.
go back and watch those.
Oh, it's not my
Yeah.
favorite set, but I really enjoyed those episodes of Comic Banter.
Thank you.
Yeah, those
very
are pretty
exciting.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hoping it comes back.
Yeah, same.
Thanks.
I want to review more cards and say a lot of shit, talk shit on the Punisher.
Punisher's 5 intelligence,
2.
5.
2
Dare you.
intelligence.
He wishes he had a 5. Dumb.
You know who else does? Every criminal wishes he had a 5. He thinks some shit through instead of just thinking with bullets.
Guy can barely spell his own name.
P.
No, Punisher.
Shoot.
Wankling Castle.
Close enough, man. You're good to go.
All right, just